Peace and blessings, everyone. I just wanted to give some context to an interview that I just did with Channel 2 News yesterday. I've seen some of the comments, and comments are what they are. And a shout out to the reporter, Christina, and her cameraman for coming out to the youth center, interviewing me, asking me some really in-depth conversational questions that I feel like were worth considering, right? In looking at youth violence, looking at teen violence, looking at our community, and just looking at our city as a whole. Thank you, Channel 2, because one thing that they do is actually they posted the full interview. And many times when I have spoke to media, and anybody that's experienced like this, you know that you can do a 30-minute interview and they're literally going to take out a 10-second sentence from that entire interview. And it's usually the sentence that you might have said that could be controversial, could spark up some other opinion. So typically that's what I'm used to when it comes to dealing with media. So the fact that they posted the full interview, I'm super grateful, because if you know me, I try to be very thoughtful about my answers, and also I kind of try to tell a story on how I even come up with certain answers. And let me be very clear, I am not an expert. I am just a person who's been born and raised in this city my entire life. I've worked with youth development for many years, and I started a nonprofit basically from the death of a 14-year-old who was shot by an accused and shot by a 16-year-old. So my entire existence of my nonprofit is rooted in gun violence. So with that being said, I just want to say a couple things. At no point do I think it's beneficial or the angle to take the approach when you're in front of a news camera and media to begin to blame certain people or even blame entities and infrastructure without naming the systematic racism and oppression that many of us have been under, and quite honestly, the entire humanity have been under. So if you don't address that, if you don't say that first, in my opinion, then you are exempting the systematic structures, the policies, the redlining, the incarceration. You're exempting all of that as if that's not an effect and an impact on certain communities, period. With that being said, nothing of my approach, nothing of what I said means that parents don't have a role, right? I definitely think that parents need to do parenting better. I definitely think that we need to show up as adults better for our children. Now, is it wise for me to get on Channel 2 and to say that in a way that can add division among our community and add division among our city and our state, and parents versus youth? No, in my opinion, I don't think that's wise. Can I paint the picture? Can I name it? Absolutely. And so for me, people's comments that, again, I'm only saying this just to give you guys some context, that I try to be aware of the power of media and make sure that what I say and how I say things cannot be misconstrued or create more problems in our community. So let's be very clear. I am never saying that parents don't have a role, or quite honestly, it all starts at home first. And since we know that some of that is broken, then there is a responsibility of community, institutions, city, county, state to step in, right? Do I expect them to step in? No. But if you're gonna ask me the question, let's talk about it, right? So just want to give that context. I would love for your feedback, love to hear what you think about the conversation in the interview. There's probably a moment in that interview where I started talking in circles, and you could probably see me trying to find a way out, because the question actually generated the same answer kind of over and over again. But for the most part, it was a good conversation. I'm honored that I was even asked to even give a perspective on the state of our youth in our city and the condition of our city and state. So let me know what you think. Link is in the bio.